Okay, we're going to go around the table on this one because we like to hear about each individual school. What unique scholarship opportunities are available at your institution? What type of qualities does a music student need to possess as an undergraduate to be offered a good scholarship? What are some other options students can pursue to finance a music education if they don't receive a scholarship? So I want to start down there.
Oh, loaded question. We are very, very fortunate at Chapman, especially in these hard economic times. We have an economist as a president whose reports are well known and are used by major figures across the country. He was able to predict that we'd probably be going a little bit under right now nationally. So we are one of the few universities in the nation, and certainly in California, that have not taken a gigantic hit. We've had no furloughs, no firings, no tuition increases to speak of, and no salary, all that stuff that has unfortunately happened to many of our colleagues, and we feel terrible about it. What that translates to you is that our endowment, the money that which we operate from and can offer scholarships, has not taken a gigantic hit. And in fact, it was a decision by the university to increase scholarship. I sit on the faculty senate. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say this. Never mind. In fact, was increased for next year. So financial opportunities are increased. Your financial abilities come in, as I just said earlier, come in different forms. A, it's your grades. Your grades will determine whether or not you get one of the three scholarships in terms of educational scholarships, presidential, chancellor, etc. On top of that, you've got your Cal grants, whatever's left of those these days, unfortunately. Yes, you may be forced to take a loan. Okay, we all did to a certain extent. And on top of that, you have your financial aid that is determined in your audition. Yes, in other words, you have to play, sing, act, dance well. And then we can give you. We look at the total package. Do not forget to fill out your FAFSAs. Sorry, I know it's a pain. But the federal, whatever the actual thing is called, I always hated doing it myself, but we had to do it. You have to do that because that's how we have a picture of what your finances are. It only helps you. It never hurts you. There's some misconception out there that if you fill out a FAFSA, oh, well, I don't want them to see how much I'm earning, et cetera, whatever. We can't give you the scholarship because we are mandated by law to do that. So please make sure that you fill out all the proper paperwork in that respect. And again, it can't hurt you.
Colburn is in a truly unique position because it was heavily supported by Richard D. Colburn. And one of the things when we created the Conservatory of Music was that he made a bequest so that every single student enrolled in the conservatory receives a full tuition, room, and board scholarship. So that's not up for discussion. If you are accepted and you enroll, that's the terms of your enrollment. So we're very, very fortunate that way. I often hear students say they got a full ride, and I always say, does that mean all your tuition is paid? Does that mean your room is paid? Does that mean your board is paid? People are fond of saying Colburn is the Curtis of the West, and Curtis pays full tuition, but they do not pay room and board in general. People say, I got a full ride to Juilliard. Did they get room and board? So we're very, very fortunate that we pay tuition, room and board. That's probably why we're so tiny. We only have 120 students because it is very expensive to run that program. But that's our opportunity. I want to say, though, that one of our students came in 2 years ago as a freshman with $22,500 in outside scholarship. This was someone who didn't think he had the chance of getting into Colburn. He applied to 8 schools. He actually got into all 8, and he was so worried about his family's finances that he applied to every single thing he could, to his father's employer's foundation, to the Walmart Foundation. I think they gave him $2,000. You know, he got $2,000 here, $1,000 there, $500 there. He could use some for books, some for this, some for that. He showed up with $22,500, and he was able to negotiate, in our case, where he could use it for other things than tuition, room and board, because that's what those scholarships were meant for. But I only say that because he worked so hard at this. That wasn't one scholarship he got. The outside scholarships, there were about 12 of them that he got, and there were about 35 that he applied for. So when you're looking at going to school and you're saying, my family simply does not have resources, if you start working in your junior year really hard, I mean, thank God for the internet. You can get online, you can look things up, you can find scholarships. You know, if you don't try, you don't have a chance. So that's my happy story, is that he was lucky enough to get into Colburn, but he also did a lot of work and found a lot of funding, and his family was very grateful for that because it did pay for his books.
Well, I still have happy news about the CSU with regard to funding. We all know that we've been going through terrible trouble because of the terrible budget situation in the state and the lack of funding there is for education. And so we did have to raise tuition, but the happy news is that the tuition at Cal State is still around $4,000 a year. That's it, $4,000 a year to get a fine education with great faculty. And I think John would agree with me. I think about what I paid going to private schools when I was a kid, and this is $4,000 is not bad. In addition, we also have a wonderful scholarship program at Cal State Fullerton, and again, it's all based on the audition. So you can apply for academic scholarships through the California State University and through Fullerton itself. We have a great President's Scholars program at Cal State Fullerton, which is a full ride program, and they give you a computer and room and board. And that's a great program, and that's based on your GPA and your scholastic achievement. In addition, though, Cal State Fullerton's music department also has a wonderful scholarship program. Again, all based on that wonderful audition that you've been preparing for years, since you were 5 years old. So we're looking forward to hearing you play for those scholarship auditions.
Very good. Well, I'm happy to say that we're only at $4,000 a minute right now. So, this is an almost impossible question to answer because it's very individualized. But I would like to reiterate one thing that was said earlier: is that don't let finances keep you from applying to a place, because if the place wants you, they'll figure out a way usually to make it work somehow. For us, there's really 3 pots of money that you can get tuition help from. One is based on music scholarships. We have a very healthy endowment, and that is based 100% on your audition. Well, it's also based somewhat on our needs as well. If we have 25 flutes auditioning that year, we may not have to go that deep for that. So it's based on the audition completely, the music scholarships. Then there's also academic scholarships, very generous ones that the university gives, and those are based completely on your academic profile when you were in high school. And then the third category is the need-based, and this is based again on your family income. It is not unusual for students to get really all 3 of those, and it really works out well. As far as the profile of what we're looking for, it's very hard. And I think most schools are like this. Within our endowment, it's pretty much been given by donors over the years, and we have earmarked funds. For example, we have a very large endowment for Armenian students of Armenian heritage who want to major in music. And there's no way to really predict that, but we have that. We have scholarships that are earmarked for single mothers. We have scholarships that are earmarked all within music for these specific things. So you want to share this with the admissions officer at any of the schools. Things that you may think are completely irrelevant to your getting involved might actually be the key to getting some funding. Because truthfully, sometimes these endowments are so narrowly given by a donor, and oftentimes it's after a person has died, you can't negotiate with them, and they want to do, perfect example, if you've ever seen the University of Arizona, where I used to be, if you've ever seen their marching band, you might be very impressed to see how many baton twirlers they have. They have 1 million of them. And that's because there was a woman who left a huge endowment for baton twirlers. And they're stuck with it. They're going to have baton twirlers forever, and lots of them. So you never know what's in your background. And I also say, look outside the university as well. I know, we had an Eagle Scout last year who was able to get money from the Boy Scouts and things. So there's no one answer to that.